I'm Amy Donegan. I am the Dean for Undergrad Career Advising in the Carroll School, and hearing from a lot of you in this situation. So want to get into basically what you can do this summer that will still feel like a productive summer. One thing that a lot of people are asking is whether or not, if they hadn't found an internship yet, or if they had an internship that was rescinded, whether or not they should continue to look or not. So that's why this is a picture of a person beating their head against the wall, because I do feel like in this particular climate, that's pretty much what it's going to feel like for a lot of people. It's just so much uncertainty, and so many employers who might like to have interns but really can't give you an answer. So, you know, the easy answer is to say that that may not be the best of use of your time. It might be quite frustrating, and perhaps your time is better spent rethinking what this summer is going to look like for you. And you know, it's sort of, if you think about how you might have defined what your measure of success was for the summer, time to really look at that and think of, okay, plan B. Okay. So think about creating a meaningful experience for yourself. You know, really, in particular for the CSOM students that I see a lot of, there's very little self-reflection and insight or thought into whether or not they should pursue particular career fields. Oftentimes it's just, well, that's what I should do. I'm smart, I'm a good student. This seems to be what a lot of my peers are doing, so I'm just going to go for that. And seeing as though that option may not be in existence for this summer, it's a good idea to spend some time really thinking about what else you could be doing, you know, post-grad or when internships become available again. And really taking some time to listen to yourself and do a lot of self-reflection, and you know, spend your time developing experiences and skills that mean something to you, not really worrying about how that's going to look to somebody else. The likelihood of whatever it is that you end up deciding to do will probably impress somebody because of the fact that you set a goal and stuck with it and did it. And again, all former measures of success, both from student standpoint and employer standpoints, are kind of out the window anyway. Nobody's really going to hold you accountable to the summer, and nobody's going to expect that you have one particular type of experience. It's something we're all going through. So one of the first things I suggest is doing some career exploration. And to that, right now, there are things that you could do. You could go to the Boston College Career Center website and sign up for an appointment on Eagle Link to take the strong interest inventory, and also sign up to have one of the advisors go over it with you. There are also a lot of free assessments online, and there's a link here to some of those assessments that you can actually take a look at. I'll just show you real quick. So a lot of people know about the Myers-Briggs, may not have actually done it. The Keirsey Temperament Sorter, that one is free. It's sort of a shortened version of the Myers-Briggs. But then there's some other free tests here, MAPP, Holland Career Code, just, you know, kind of a plethora of different things that you could be looking at. And then the other thing to mention is that one of the projects that the CSOM career team is pulling together is a three-part series, one of which the first part is going to be career exploration, where we will be offering different assessments and sessions going over those assessments with students virtually. So more on that. Keep checking your newsletter, keep checking the CSOM career page. Let me just show you what that looks like for now, because there's a lot of resources on there right now. So if you're on the undergrad website, and you click on the career section, you'll see our social media platform, which has the information that we have on Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. So we'll be posting any events we do on Instagram. So if you don't already follow us, please follow us, Fulton 315. You also may want to check out our YouTube channel. Right now, we've got a series of interviews that we just conducted with our some of our alumni, many of which who graduated during the last recession and have a lot of good advice. and then others who have just really good general career advice. And, you know, talking, we'll also be expanding that series to cover different career fields so that you can use these interviews as an opportunity to learn about some of the different career fields. So a great way to handle that is to actually do some assessment. If you come up with any ideas for particular career fields and you want to learn more about it, check this first and see if perhaps we have an interview with one of those. So these will be subcategorized so that you can quickly look through and see which ones are more focused on COVID-19 job searching or recession job searching, or the ones that will be focused more on particular career fields as well. Okay, so a lot of good information out there. Also, this session and others that have already been recorded, networking in a WFH world, and then just a resume for first-year students. So any sessions that we're doing, we're recording and put them up. So if you can't attend them synchronously, you can watch them asynchronously. So just keep checking that site, okay? Other sites, other resources on that page would include, we have this COVID-19 career resource page. If you click onto it, you'll see that there's different subcategories in there. So there's internship and employer impact. A lot of students have asked me, is anybody hiring? So there's some live crowdsourced data out there on who's hiring, who's having hiring freezes. And then the same thing for summer internship programs, some FAQs from the Career Center, and then just some tech jobs, things, some really good content on that particular topic. This is the link where we'll list any of the sessions that we have coming up. This is the link to the Expertise for Alumni with the YouTube page. And then another link here for things like, you know, how to network and keep in touch with recruiters, how to find open positions, interviewing, and a number of resources. So some good places to start just in terms of your learning right there. So make sure you check that out and take advantage of that. Then in terms of just having an idea about career fields that might come up based on your interests, your self-assessment, the next thing, of course, is to do some research. And I did already show you some resources in which you can do some, you know, just easily watching some interviews with alumni. But don't forget about a lot of extensive research that you are capable of doing on your own, where you can learn about different career fields. I love learning about career fields by talking to people. I think it's the best way to do it. But you can even start initially with just conducting research on some of the really good content that's out there around career fields. So this link is to the NCDA site, which has a lot of information. There's a self-assessment link, which is has a number of assessments, and all of them, the majority of them are free. But there's also these two links which have really specific industry and occupation specific information. So you can pretty much scroll down and see almost anything you might be interested in and get good information on it, okay? Another source would be the Vault Guides. Many of you may have heard of the Vault Guides, and they are accessible and free through the Boston College Library website. So you can download any of those guides, and they have a lot of extensive career exploration information on there. And then if you really want to do a deep dive, you can download one of the guides that they publish around that particular industry as well. So take advantage of that. And then the next thing is alumni. So talking to alumni in these fields. And then these are just some different places where you can do that, okay? And also some links, again, about how to set up those meetings, keeping in touch with them, and just some good networking etiquette information. But the main two sources for those right now would be LinkedIn and the Eagle Exchange. So I think most of you are probably familiar with LinkedIn. If you're not, and it's a good starting point for you, just get going on LinkedIn, get your profile done, and start to learn how to use it. There's a lot of information on LinkedIn. People have been very active on that since this epidemic has sent people home and doing a lot of work virtually. So there's just great information out there. You can learn a ton. There's so much free content now as well. But just if you, let's say, there's a particular alum that you're interested in talking with, or you want to see if we have an alum at a particular company, there's a number of ways to do it. I'm just going to show you one quick, easy way. So when you're on your homepage, if you just go into your search bar and hit enter under your search bar, that's going to bring up your filters. when you're in your filters, just click on all of those different filters. And when you want to find BC alumni, just click on Boston College under schools, and then go up and you can do either the name of the particular company. So let's say you're interested in talking to an alum who works at Amazon. You can click on that and then hit apply, and you'll get BC alumni who work at Amazon. If you want to be more specific or vague or industry specific, go back up into your filters, keep BC alum clicked on there. And maybe you're interested in a particular industry. So maybe you want to learn more about something, I don't know, like say you're like, I'm interested in sports, okay? I want to find out about who works in sports. I'm going to click that on, and then you can pick a geographic location, but then just hit apply. If you just want to be more vague and see what people are doing related to that theme, you can do that, okay? Sometimes there's limitations with LinkedIn in terms of what you can find if the industry doesn't come up. So if I go into my filters, I'm going to give you an example of how I might use this. And like maybe you have a topic that you're interested in. You're like, oh, I'm interested in sustainability. Okay, well we know that alumni work across so many different industries in sustainability, and that's not necessarily an industry. So how do I find those people? And that can get a little frustrating because there isn't a keyword search in the entry-level version of LinkedIn. But one thing that you can do is even try under title. And if we type in sustainability under title, and we just say Boston College alums, we know we're going to find alums and nothing else, and hit apply, we're going to see a wide range of things where we can be like, oh, wow, here's someone in a grad program. Here's a sustainability consultant. Here's somebody who's a director of sustainability at Samsonite. We're going to get other students in there, of course, right? Oh, so here's somebody who's interning with the BC Dining doing sustainability, and so on and so on. So sometimes that's just great for brainstorming. So you can be like, oh, what are some things that, if something that you care deeply about, you need to get some information about how do I carve out a living for myself around that particular theme. And doing something like this is a really great way to do that. So that's another important part of your experiential and exploration that you can do that will give you some better ideas. Of course, you can always Google something as well and come up with some good content as well. Just typically you have to sort through a lot of stuff. Oftentimes you'll end up finding a lot of information like job listings from platforms that aggregate job listings. What that actually can be good for is just getting ideas of, you're not searching for a job necessarily yet, but you are searching for ideas. And so looking at job listings is a good way to learn more about that and who hires in that area and everything. So don't dismiss that as an opportunity to learn something. You're not applying to those jobs, but you're going to be learning about them. Another thing that you can do this summer and that will serve you very well down the road whenever things sort of, I don't want to say come back to normal, but when maybe people are making hiring decisions again about internships, would be to start building your network. There's a twofold function out of this. One is you need to be doing this anyway to start learning about what your options are. So if you really want to figure out what you want to do after you graduate that's going to make you happy, you want to be talking to people. And so, like I said, let's say you go back and you do a search and you're, on the topic of sustainability and you see all these alumni. This is the ideal time to start reaching out to them and asking them if they'll set up a meeting with you so you can learn more about how they got into it. A lot of people are available now. Not everybody, never want to make that assumption, but a number of people are, and this is kind of, and oftentimes, honestly, people like to talk about themselves, so they might be flattered. And they know, you're acknowledging that, well, nobody's hiring right now anyway, so this is an ideal time for me to start building up my network and your contacts. And then, so if it turns out that you explore, talk to people, decide that there's a particular career field that you want to pursue later, you've already got a network because you've done that work ahead of time, okay? And that's going to serve you better than anything else you can do in terms of finding a job or an internship later on, okay? Another alternative for the summer, and this doesn't mean you have to do one or the other, but these are all things that you can do, would be perhaps you've been thinking about maybe enhancing your technical skills a little bit. This is a great opportunity to do that. So this is just a link to some examples of some of the most sought after technical skills out there. So these are just some ideas of, all right, maybe these are some things I can do. And if you click on these links, you can find more information about where you can develop some of those skills. And there's a lot of opportunities to do that for free, of course. So that's a good place to do it. Following organizations involved in that space, following industry leaders, companies that they work for, a lot of times there'll be free content. And when I say follow, I mean LinkedIn, Twitter, good places to do that, so that you can learn about ways in which you can enhance your skills, your expertise in the industry, and your contacts all at the same time. Conducting independent research. Let's say you have a particular theme or a field that you really are, excited about. Start conducting independent research. You may or may not ever have to share it with anybody, but maybe you've come up with some good ideas. If nothing else, you become sort of an expert in the field, and that will really impress somebody in an interview later. Maybe you want to start putting some of your information out there, whether you publish something on LinkedIn or share it on Twitter. As long as it's well written and accurate, that could be a good way to get noticed. And on that theme, polish your writing and presentation skills. Writing skills oftentimes, and there's another corresponding handout that will go along with this PowerPoint that will give you some resources about polishing up your writing and your presentation skills. Practicing your interview skills and your storytelling. The art of storytelling, it's one of those things that when you think about it, when you actually get into the place where you're doing a job search, your storytelling, in the sense that if you do a job interview and they're asking you to share an example, that's a story. And if you're really good at telling that story, you're going to be memorable and you're going to stand out in the interview process. So that's why I put that link in here, and there's some good resources for doing that. Some people have an interest in languages, maybe learning a new language or polishing one that you maybe haven't taken since high school. Particularly if you're in CSOM, you wouldn't have had to. So that's another thing that you can do. Again, between free courses and YouTube, there's just so much out there. And a lot of people, reading a lot, it's an opportunity to read stuff you actually want to read and not just what has been assigned to you. And it's great just in terms of becoming knowledgeable about different things out there and becoming a better, well-rounded, more interesting student. Reading is the way to go, but also looking at TED Talks. There's great TED Talks out there, and I was talking with a student recently, and she was saying, "This is my chance. I love TED Talks. I'm gonna watch as many as I can this summer." Other things that you can do: volunteer. One thing we can safely assume is that there's going to be a lot of people who are desperately struggling. And a lot of organizations desperately struggling to help people. So it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to do anything to do with your future career plans. If that is how you spend your summer, people are going to respect that. And I think that's, you think about how can you use your gifts or your talent, your energy to help someone or something this summer. It's a great way to spend your summer. You could explore gig working or temping. That corresponding handout has some links to that. Woof during harvest, if you're familiar with woofing, that's organic farming. There's a whole website, a list of organic farms that are going to need a lot of help during harvest. In many cases, a lot of that workforce has been depleted. If you're talking with alumni in a particular field of interest and they're actually working, you could ask them if there's anything that you can help them with, any projects for anything, even if it's unpaid, just so you can get the experience. It's always worth the ask. And again, it will help you to create a good story at the end of the summer. That you can talk to an employer or say, this is how I decided to spend my summer, come up with a plan and totally own it. Don't apologize for it, sell it. Anything you do, as long as you do it and you do it with heart, authenticity, the true zest for learning, people are going to applaud that, and that'll be a really positive way to have spent the summer. And think of it as an opportunity that's been given to you. That concludes today's session. I hope you found this helpful. The corresponding handout is right here and will be posted next to it. And a lot of the topics I discussed will go into a little bit more detail in terms of the links that are connected with everything I mentioned. So you'll find that helpful as well. Okay? Thank you and good luck, and enjoy what you have of a summer. Take care.